Good evening, everybody. This is Cruiser Chris, and we're back with another video from the Cruiser Chris World Network. Today, we're going to talk about what I did on October 3rd of this year, 2022, and we're going to talk about why that's important to me. This is what I did on October 3rd of this year. As you can see, this is a 3-ring binder, and I'll do everybody a favor and hold it up so that they can see it better. And you can see it better. There you go. And as you can see, that's me in a demo standing frame wheelchair. Now, that is an electric wheelchair with a standing frame built into it. Now, those of you who haven't been around for a while, and even some of you who have been around for a while, might be asking, well, why is a standing frame important? From my perspective, a standing frame is important to me because it allows me to improve my circulation, improve my blood flow, and improve my muscles, strengthen my muscles, and be able to feel better. It helps me to improve my breathing, and it helps to keep me healthy and living a healthy and happy life. In this video, I'm going to tell you some of the steps you have to take in order to get a wheelchair with a standing frame built into it. So we hope you enjoy the video. I'd like to begin by telling you about the chair that I have currently. It is a 2017 Invacare Rovi electric wheelchair. As you can see, it has Elevate, which allows me to lift myself up to be able to reach something on a very high cupboard. This is helpful for when a person with a disability is by themselves and does not have a regular visiting PCA, or maybe the PCA is sick from time to time, or PCAs and ILS workers are human too, so they need to take a vacation or might want to take a vacation from time to time. This is important for me to maintain my independence. This chair also has a tilting function, so if I would have to tilt back during my day to adjust myself or use it for other private matters, which I will not get into on this video, I would be able to do that. So it can tilt back. The nice thing about this too is it has a seat back that can tilt back. So if you want to use a combination of the back tilt and the recline function. And then you want to adjust yourself in the chair by using your upper body strength. To do that, you can do so very easily by doing that. Now, this next part might be hard to see because I am I have the camera facing me, so you can't see what's going on down in front of me. But I made a video of this already, so I'll show this part of the video. As you can, this chair has a lighting system on it. It has 4-way flashers. It has a right side blinker. And it has a left side blinker. We'll turn that off because I still want to talk with you. And I don't want that to be distracting. But, so why is a lighting package important, you might ask? Well, even though I might have a disability, even though I do have a disability, I still like to be as able-bodied as I possibly can. That's important to me because I want to be able to go do errands or go visit a friend at his or her house and do it at any time of the day whenever I'm able to do it. Before, and previous chairs that I've had prior to this, I didn't have a light package, which made it very difficult for somebody like me to travel in the dark at night because you had no idea what was in front of you, and if you didn't have an idea what was in front of you, you might be at risk for tipping over, and that's not a good thing. So what I had my wheelchair people that helped me get wheelchairs do is I had them add a lighting package so that it could give me more freedom to get around the community at night or on a cloudy day, or if I like to go to movies, because they have the lighting turned down in the theater so as to not disturb people or distort the view of the movie, I can turn the lights on to help if I have to go out to the concession stand or if I have to use the restroom during the movie. So it allows me to see where I'm going without causing very much disruption to other people and their enjoyment of the movie. So that's why the lighting package is important to me. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what I did on October 3rd. For those of you who have been here in the past, you know what a seating assessment is, but for those of you that are new, I'm going to explain to you what a seating assessment is. But before I do that, I'm going to say that if you like what you see, you can like, subscribe, and share. Leave an organic comment and give this video a like to show us that you have been here. We are greatly appreciative of the support you have given us. And we will continue to show support for you whenever possible. It means so much to us to have all of you watching and giving us feedback on what we do, because you help us to grow our channel, and we're very thankful for that. It means so much to us. So let me begin by first saying you can pay out of pocket for these wheelchairs, but to get a wheelchair like this, the base price would be, I would guess, anywhere between $3,000 and $4,000. Not to imagine if you had to get any special type seating, you would, based on whatever specialized seating you have or you might need, it can go up from there. But the base price is $3,000 to $4,000 generally, roughly in the ballpark area. Now, for those of us who are disabled, we are not able to afford stuff like that out of our pockets, because we don't make that much. But that's okay, because we have insurance. So what insurance does is insurance helps us purchase equipment like these chairs so that we can be contributing members to everyday society and live a comfortable life. I have been in electric wheelchairs since I was in middle school, and have grown very, very skilled with how to operate a chair like this over the years. So how does insurance pay for your chair? Well, for those of you who don't know about what insurance does, is the budgets sometimes are very tight depending on what kind of insurance you go with. So they have to have everything medically justified. That means if a joystick box is $200, they need it justified by a therapist as to why that person might need that specific joystick box. There are a variety of different joystick boxes that you can have on your chair, but everything has to be justified by insurance. And for those of you who might be wondering, how do you get things justified by your insurance? Well, you have to have a meeting with a occupational therapist or a physical therapist at one of the local therapy clinics in your area. I go up to Kurge Kinney Rehabilitation Institute up north in a town called Cambridge, close to where I live. So you have to go up there to have them fit you or assess you for what you might need. There's also a person that works with you in getting the chair called an ATP. Now, for those of you who have been here before, you know that I talk about ATP Tim and ATP Paul. This is going to be a wheelchair that is handled by ATP Tim, because he's had many more years of experience than Paul. Tim has been in the rehab repair field for 30 years or thereabouts, and Paul has only been in for about 10 years. And what I like about Tim and what Paul is learning, but I still like Paul too. He's a very nice person, and he's the clone of Tim, but I want to, give Paul time to get a little bit more seasoned before I use him and get a little bit more experience under his belt. And so I look forward to using Paul in the future, but Tim has known me since I was a kid, and so I want to be able to continue to use him because that's important. So what the therapist does is, when we go to the appointment at the clinic, she'll ask me, okay, what is it that you want to do, or what is it that you do on your on an everyday basis in your life. For example, do you do a lot of cooking? Do you do a lot of standing? Do you want to go and exercise? Do you want to go to the Mall of America? Are you an outdoorsman? Do you like to go camping? Do you like to go on nature hikes? These therapists need to know what you do so that they can help the ATP and help them to pick or select a piece of equipment that works best for you. So then we go to that meeting, and the ATP's there, and the client is there, and the therapist is there, and everybody sits down and talks about, okay, do you have any current medical concerns that you're working with right now? And is it going to be a barrier to you being able to maintain your daily life? They might also ask you, what are some of the current barriers that you face? Like, before I got the chair that I'm in now, they might have asked me, why is it hard for you to get up into the cupboards in your kitchen? And I would have said yes, because I didn't have a wheelchair that had a big enough elevate on it. So I told them I want to be able to get up to my cupboards and get up into my cupboards, because I don't always have a worker here with me, and sometimes you have to do things every day in your everyday life without the help of a worker, because they can't always be here. Another thing, that because this chair is going to be a Permobil chair, it has a standing function in it. So they might ask me, why is it important for you to have a standing frame built into the chair? And the reason why I want to have a standing frame built into my chair is because I am very sedentary, which means I sit in this chair a lot. I sit in this chair for about 14 to 18 hours a day on an everyday basis. So it would be nice if I had a standing frame wheelchair, not only for the reason that I would be able to stand without the help of a PCA, because I would just be able to stand in the chair, and I wouldn't always have to rely on the PCAs to be here to help me with the standing frame, because the way I have it right now, I have another standing frame in my bedroom next to me, and because of that, I have to, because that standing frame is not built into my wheelchair, I have to have a PCA here because my balance isn't that great. And so because my balance isn't that great, people are concerned about me falling, so that I don't do the standing frame when the PCAs are not here right now, because there's a concern with me potentially falling, and nobody really wants that to happen. So that's why I want to get into a wheelchair that has a standing frame built into it, so that I can sit in the chair, and if I want to stand, I can do that and be free. So the other thing is, after the seating assessment is done, which took place on October 3rd, an ATP like Tim will come out to my house, and he'll take a look at the equipment that I currently have, and he'll say, "How is that equipment working for you?" And I'll say, "Well, my back is kind of starting to hurt," or I'm getting cramps down by my legs because I'm not able to move them very much. And he'll say, "Well, here's some of what I think we should do to help make this better for you." So he then comes to the house and does measurements of my current chair and my what are called anatomical measurements, which means that they are measurements that are specific to me. So he'll come and do the measurements, but then he'll also go and do measurements around my house, like how big the door frame is, and how high does the chair have to be able to rise to get to the cupboard and stuff like that. So then what they do is the ATP is responsible for the chair side. The therapist is responsible for dealing with my body and what it needs. So then the ATP and the therapist will either talk on the phone or meet in person, and then the ATP will hand over the form to the therapist, and then the therapist will fill out what's known as a letter of medical necessity. Now, going back to what we talked about earlier in the video, where we said we have to justify all of the money that is spent on a chair for the insurance, because the insurance does not want to put something on a chair for a person that they're not going to need. And then a person might have something on a chair that they don't have now that they might need in the future. And that letter of medical necessity allows them to justify to the insurance why a person needs a certain thing. So then the therapist writes the letter of medical necessity, and then it goes to your doctor, who, by the way, your doctor is going to be the first person to kick this thing off, because the doctor has to write a prescription which says, hey, this person needs a medical seating assessment for a new piece of equipment. If the doctor doesn't give you a prescription for that, then everything just kind of stops right there. But so the first thing you need to do is you need to get a prescription. Then you can have the ATP come out to your house and do the measurements and find out what might be right for you in your new piece of equipment. Then you go to the therapist, and the therapist and the ATP exchange information, or in this case, the ATP gives the therapist the information that he wrote up in his seating assessment at your house. And then the therapist writes it in letter form, and that's called the LMN. For those of you that have been here before, you've heard about what the LMN is, but LMN, for those of you who are new, stands for Letter of Medical Necessity. Now, that's important because, like we said, everything in that letter is what insurance is going to fund. So, insurance needs to have a detailed reason why a person getting a new piece of equipment needs that whatever accommodation they might need. So they look at that, and then they decide, and then once it's approved from the therapist's side of things, then it goes to your doctor, and the doctor signs off on everything, and then it goes to your insurance, and you wait about 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks at the most, for everything to go through your insurance. And if insurance might have any questions, then it goes back to the therapist or the ATP, and they do what they can to respond very quickly to whatever questions the insurance has, sends it back, and the insurance approves it, signs off. The money is sent from the insurance to the purchasing department, and then it gets purchased. Takes about 6 or 8 weeks to get the stuff ordered in, and then it gets put together by a technician or the ATP himself, and then they work on deciding what a good delivery date for you and for them is. So we hope that you've enjoyed this video by the Cruiser Chris World Network about what the whole part about the seating assessment is for a new electric wheelchair. The one that we're going to be looking to get me is called a Permobil standing frame electric wheelchair. I don't have the name for it currently, but I will talk to my ATP that's working with me on this, and we will do what we can to get that information into the video system below. The description below, in the description box below the video, that's what I was trying to say. Sorry folks, it's been a long day. So we hope that you've enjoyed this presentation of the Cruiser Chris World Network. If you have, sorry, I was making cookies, and that's done now. If you have enjoyed this video, we would like you to like, subscribe, and share. Leave an organic comment to show us that you've been here, and that will help us to find our way back to you. We hope that you've enjoyed this video today. Thanks for watching this presentation of the Cruiser Chris World Network, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.